Hey, what's up, guys? I'm TJ. I'm an ASMA certified personal trainer. And today I want to talk about my workouts and how I've progressed them throughout time. Try to go over what I did at the beginning and how those were, kind of go over mistakes, the things I did, what I would have changed, how I would have done things differently, and then progressing it more and more as I gain more knowledge in this field and gaining more experience and how I decided to change things and why I made some of the changes that I did. So the first one I did was a 3-day push-pull legs. Now, the first thing is that if you're doing a push-pull legs, you wouldn't want to do this 3 days. You'd probably want to do it minimum 6 days. Mainly because if you do it once a week, or you're hitting basically every muscle group once a week on the push-pull legs split, you're not really getting the most muscle growth you could be looking at getting. And after a while, you might have very diminishing returns and not make as many gains as you'd like to see in the gym. Doing it only 3 days instead of the 6 days weeks where you're doing push, pull, and legs 2 times in that week. And the first, obviously, push is your chest, triceps, and shoulders. Pull, back, biceps. And what I would do is I'd do deadlifts on my pull days as well. Then legs, quad, hamstrings, calves. Now, for the most part, this is kind of what a push-pull legs would look like. The only thing is that might be different is instead of doing deadlifts on pull, you'd probably do that on the legs day because it's definitely more of a lower body in terms of your glutes and hamstrings. But this is basically what you could expect out of a push-pull leg split, or that's a typical push-pull leg split. And then for me, what I do more specifically, I would do some kind of bench, some kind of overhead press, then some tricep exercise. And I might double up and do like incline bench press. I might do like another tricep exercise. And then maybe if I felt like I'd do like a random machine that looked new and interesting that I haven't tried yet for one of these muscle groups, maybe I'd do like a machine overhead press. Maybe I'd do some kind of like the sitting ISO bench press. Basically anything that looked new and interesting. Then pull, I'd start with a deadlift. I'd do some kind of bent over row, do a lat pull down. Maybe I'd even do like a seated cable row, and then I might just do like dumbbell or biceps stuff with the dumbbells. Maybe I'd do it on the machine, the preacher curl machine, and then maybe like 1 or 2 other things. Legs is probably the most intensive day. Well, legs is always very intensive, but I'd start with a squat. I'd do leg press, move over to the leg extension, leg curl, and then there's also probably one of the more shorter days, which is a little strange, but it's only because I didn't really know too many leg exercises at the time, so I'd always just kind of stick to squat, obvious leg exercise, leg press, it has leg in the name, and then leg extension and leg curl also have leg in the name, so it's like just do it on that day. And then I might do calves because there was only like one calf machine. I didn't really know too many other calf exercises, and I don't know, I'm always kind of like stuck on my mindset where it's like if I'm doing one machine, I'll always do this machine and I don't want to change it. And then sometimes I just didn't want to do it. A lot of this was like pretty decent. I think for the most part, I'd probably change like how many exercises I did for each thing as well as doubling the amount of days I did it. So with bench, or with the push day, I probably overdid it with doing a lot of the benching and maybe tricep work and kind of like overdoing a lot of like chest work, where if I did do this 2 times a week, I'd probably be burning out my chest by the time I got to push again. My chest wouldn't be recovered because I think I did at least 2 or 3 exercises for my chest that with definitely a lot of sets and a lot of reps. And then similar thing can be said for doing the rows and lat pull downs. Definitely was doing a lot for my back, is at least like 2 rowing and a lat pull down. And that was definitely a lot to burn myself out. But at the same time, I was still able to make gains because I was new to the gym. This is my first kind of like workout, like regime. And just by like showing up every week, I was able to make a little bit of progress. Even though it may not have been optimal, it was still like good progress. The other thing I will say that was probably good is I was doing it 3 days a week at the start instead of doing 4 or 5 or even 6 days. Because when you're new, you're definitely going to get DOMS. You're definitely going to be sore. There's going to be a lot of things your body has to adjust to. And starting off doing 6 days a week is a good way of like making sure your body shuts down, is hurt, doesn't want to move, and is like really, it's not going to have a fun time. So I probably look more to do like maybe a 4-day or maybe a 2 or 3-day like full body split where I do like a little bit of everything. Maybe I do a bench, maybe I do some deadlift and a squat, which sounds like a brutal day. But when you're new, it's more about getting the form down and getting everything right rather than trying to push it to your limits. So while it may seem like a lot of like heavy compound lifts, it would, but it wouldn't feel like as much as it would now. Like if I was to do bench, deadlift, and squat all in the same day, that would definitely be like a brutal day. When you're first starting out, it's going to be a little bit easier because you're probably going to use lighter weight because you don't know where your weight should be at the moment. And you're trying to figure out like how to do it, what feels right, where do you start feeling the burn, and doing maybe a little more full body stuff after that, where I'm doing like maybe a little bit of arms, shoulders, then like throwing like some back exercise, like a bent over row and lat pull down, doing like all of that. After that, for like 2 days a week would be good. And then scaling it up, and maybe splitting it more into 4 days where you do like an upper, lower, or maybe keep the full body, or maybe you extend it more and more to 5 or 6 days where you start getting to like the push-pull legs 6-day split. Another thing is that there also isn't much structure to it. As I mentioned a few times, I'd kind of just swap things in and out. I'd probably just like do a new machine that I saw look good. I'd probably, I don't know, just do whatever felt good that day. If I wasn't sure what I was going to do, if something was taken or I didn't feel like doing a certain exercise, I'd just kind of like swap it in and out, which is probably fine in the beginning because you're just trying to like, you should be experimenting. You should be finding which exercises you like, which things you do like, and which ones you don't. And then as you build up like that kind of knowledge bank in your head, you can kind of push forward and move along and kind of refine and remake your workout schedule to be something you like and that you can make progress on, that you find a little more meaningful. And then from there, I eventually moved on to the 6 days push-pull legs, mainly because when I saw I probably should be doing them twice instead of just kind of doing it once. And I also wanted to go to the gym more. I was enjoying it. I was making progress. And I was like, I could probably make progress twice as fast if I go twice as more, which may be almost kind of true, but not entirely. I definitely would make progress faster because I'm working on my muscles a little bit more as they recover. And I'm not really having to take multiple days off in a week. I can go multiple times in a week. The other thing I was doing this time was I was doing pyramid sets. I went to the gym a few times with my one friend who kind of showed me how he does his workouts. He does a similar push-pull legs thing, but he would do pyramid sets where he'd start off really high, like at like 12 or 15 reps, and then he would scale it down all the way to about 6 reps. And I'll show you, I think, on the next slide, kind of what that looked like. So same thing from the previous slide, is just push-pull legs, all the same, muscles being hit, and even deadlifts on pull days. That still was going on. And yeah, the same thing. I think the only thing I would change actually is I'm pretty sure on the second pull day I would not do deadlifts. I think I was doing deadlifts only on one day. I always felt like doing deadlifts would hurt my back, my lower back specifically. So I wanted to be really safe and really cautious of that and only do it like kind of one day a week. But I think on the second pull day I'd probably do a little bit more of like something else, like maybe do like a little bit extra biceps, or try and figure out like a new exercise that looked interesting to me that I saw online, or new machine, or maybe be like, all right, I'm tired that day, I'm just gonna do my normal stuff without the deadlifts. And this is kind of what it looked like, more specifically. Luckily, when I started using this one app called Strong, it was able to actually tracks basically all your workouts that you've done on the app, kind of back forever. If you look at the date, it's December 2022. And this is also when I was still going to the gym at Planet Fitness, because it was $10 a month, and I was like, I probably will do this for a couple months, then quit. Little did I know I'd actually get really into it and now become a personal trainer and be doing this for like a job. So everything's going to be on everything that's normally a barbell, will be on the Smith machine. And so I do, if you look here, I do it on the bench. And then you can see I warm up with 15 reps on the bench. Then I go 12, 10, 8. And that's that kind of pyramid scheme where I'm just increasing the weight a little bit. I didn't really know how much weight I should be doing for each thing. So I kind of just, I don't know, I kind of basically it all the same. And then if I felt pretty good, I'd just increase the weight for that rep range a little bit higher. I had real no idea of how to progress this. There's probably one thing I would recommend against maybe doing pyramid sets, especially if you're newer, that it can be very difficult to figure out how much weight you should be doing for how many reps, and trying to progress that each week can feel a little strange. So I'd say you should probably stick to doing normal, like I'm doing this rep range with this weight for however many sets, 3 to 4 sets or whatever, instead of trying to do a pyramid set, where this should probably be more for someone who's a little more experienced and wants a little different challenge, different idea of how to do things. Maybe after you've gotten experience, got enough an idea of how your body responds to certain weight on certain exercises. But as you can look throughout all of it, 12, 10, 8, 12, 10, 5. I did more weight here, I guess, but then I wasn't able to get the 8 reps I was looking to get. This is probably what made my gains probably grow a lot without me even realizing it, is doing these cable crossovers and then doing my last set to failure. And I think sometimes they do a drop set. Yeah, you can see here, I do drop sets sometimes. I think sometimes that's important, is pushing your muscles to failure in a safe way, because I think that really lets you know where your limits are rather than try to stay in the safe range where you feel tired after doing like however many reps. You can see the same idea here on this one. It's the squat, leg press, leg extension, seated leg curl, then seated calf raise. And then I'd basically repeat this twice with not really, I just kind of like, once I do this, I just go back to this. So there wasn't really much like variation on the second day or second time of doing all the exercise. It was kind of just the same thing twice. Now version 2 is a little different. I'd have the 2 split, and first day would be basically the same as before, except I'd have it be up to an 8 rep range, where everything would be like sets to 8. And then on the second time I'd do the exercises, or do the days of exercising, I would do a 12 rep range. So it would kind of be a little bit less weight than the 8, there's more reps. This way I have like 2 different ways I can kind of progress the weight on. Kind of how it looked here, it'd be everything would be 4 sets. And then actually, I think once I get to the more smaller muscle groups, like I'd have my main muscle groups be sets of 8, 4 sets of 8. And then I'd kind of lower the weight up the reps a little bit. You can even see here, I kept the same pyramid style for this on the seated overhead press. Then the cable crossovers, and I do my failure, and then a drop set after that. Same thing here, 8, 8, 8. Actually, this is 8 all the way around, except for when you get to here. And this feels a little strange to look at, because I feel like I would always maybe have my 1 or 2 main lifts at the top where I would do sets of 8, and then I'd probably have a lot of like tertiary or kind of smaller muscle groups that I'm working on, but I'd probably have like a higher volume, higher reps, lower weight. And then same thing here, 8 all the way around. And then actually when you get here, this is actually, I do pyramid sets again. And then I guess, this I start doing Bulgarian split squats. These are pretty brutal leg exercises. And I think I'd only stick to 8 on each leg because it's already pretty high. So it's like it may not be 15, but it's basically doing 16 with 8 on each leg. And the second time, this is probably where things change a little bit. But as you can see, they're kind of the same exercises, except you see the cable crossovers here. I don't really go to failure here. And then the weight here is a bit higher or a bit lower here, but the reps are more. And I still did 4 sets on each. I probably wouldn't recommend for doing this high of a rep range. I probably only recommend doing 3 sets on the exercise instead of doing 4. The same thing with here. Then I go to a more normal range here. Still do pyramid sets every once in a while on random exercises. Feels relatively random. Then same thing. Pull on day 2. It's kind of the same. I might just I think I would change a few things. Like instead of doing chin-ups, I'd do pull-ups, and then deadlift, no deadlifts. That's basically the main change in pull second day. This probably has the most changes, which is probably, not sure if that'd be the best, but it's probably better than just keeping everything the same. And then the second day of legs, basically almost identical to the first day of legs, except lower weights all the way around, and then more reps, obviously. Well, this is interesting. I'd only do 3 sets on the squat, even though I was doing 4 on all these other exercises. So I'm not sure why I did that. Now we go into version 3. This is where I would change it a little bit to have more progression throughout my entire cycle, where I would start at really high reps, then kind of bring everything down slowly. And it kind of be the same idea, push, pull, legs, still doing deadlifts on pull days. I'll never drop that habit, I guess. And the same thing. And then pull is also where I do some supersetting. So I'll do bench press and then chest flies with dumbbells. Now, I'm not sure if I'd recommend this necessarily, but I was basically training what we call muscle endurance in a personal training kind of world, where you superset something, kind of sitting the same muscle group, trying to really burn that muscle. So, 15 reps, and supersetting. So it's right back to back. It was definitely a lot of work. I'm not sure if I'd recommend this necessarily. I'd recommend maybe doing supersetting after a main lift. So probably do bench press, then maybe on its own. Then you can superset chest flies with, maybe you want to do also a dumbbell bench press or maybe a tricep exercise. Then I'll also do supersetting with overhead press and tricep extension, which I'm not sure that was too bad. I think this is probably fine. Definitely burn my triceps a lot, because you're going right from using it's mainly shoulders, but also a little bit of triceps as like a synergizer, as well as going into one where the triceps are the main mover of something. And kind of going into a more normal workout. And then I probably started doing core for the first time in my life here. Before, I was just lazy and didn't really care about getting abs. I just kind of want to get stronger and look bigger in my chest. And then, still doing deadlifts here. Now, 15 reps. I probably wouldn't recommend 15 reps on the deadlift unless you're probably learning it and you're just kind of wanting to get more reps in to kind of get that feel, that mind-muscle connection you're looking for. And then most of the other things I think are probably fine to do 15 reps for. And this is the only thing I'd really superset, which is probably pretty good. Reverse flies and bicep curls. The main reason why this would probably be good is because reverse flies and bicep curls are kind of different muscle groups, so you wouldn't worry about one burning out the other, and you're able to probably do both pretty effectively, with the only limiting factor really being your stamina and your endurance in the middle of the workout. Is 15 reps. After doing that 1 or 2 sets, you're definitely going to be really tired. You're going to be really looking to suck in air and get more oxygen in you in the middle of a workout. So that might be the one limiting factor if you do supersetting. And kind of the same thing. Now, actually, this didn't feel too bad when I was doing squats into Nordic curls. It definitely felt a little brutal, but the Nordic curls didn't really interfere with my squats too much, and also it's kind of a little bit of a break because these were pretty far away from each other. So I'd have to do a walk over to the Nordic curls, do that, then walk back, and then by the time I got back, I'd have still another minute or 2 of rest. And then step downs. This is also when I was doing a little bit more stuff for my knee because I had a little bit of jumper's knee from playing volleyball. So I try to experiment with a little more different things like step downs. Doing a standing calf raise with dumbbells, kind of doing it on one foot to get more balance and strengthen my calves a little bit more. ATG split squats, getting a really nice deep split squat. And then single leg extensions, really trying to focus on getting each leg to be a little stronger and my knees to be a little stronger because I did notice that because of my knee being a little bit weaker is that my left leg started becoming a lot stronger than my right leg. So it would be able to do, my left leg would be able to do 70 pounds just fine, but my right leg would be able to struggle. Then also, that's probably also a good thing to look at in general, is trying to find exercises that really isolate one part of your body. So you can kind of figure out if one's a little bit weaker and kind of focusing on balancing that out instead of just like doing stuff like a bent over row with barbell. You do a bent over row with dumbbells and see if like one side's stronger than the other, and you're able to balance that out and keep both sides about equally as strong. So you're not having to rely on one side over the other, especially if you do get a little bit later in your gains and you start noticing that things feel a little off. And the second time, kind of the same thing, except maybe some exercise gets, probably think I changed some exercise around to fit it better because everything's always a work in progress, especially with me and doing my workouts. I'm always trying to reorganize things, try and feel it out, try and figure out if things can be better. So instead of doing chest flies, I did overhead press, and then nothing really was supersetted here. Here, I think I supersetted a few more things, like I added a lateral raise here, same thing, same superset here. Here I didn't do Nordic curls, and I didn't superset anything on my legs day, but I did do lying leg curls instead of Nordic curls. Still have the split squat, step down, standing calf raise dumbbell, single leg extension. So it is, a lot of it is the same, but it still has a good amount of variation in it. Still doing more, everything always just changing and moving. And then here's kind of the first progression I have into it, where instead of doing 15 reps, I'm now doing 12 reps and kind of lowering that across the board, doing a little bit more weight than I was doing before, kind of give my body a different ways to progress. That's one thing that's always kind of good, is finding different ways to progress, whether it being keeping the same weight, doing more reps, doing less weight and more reps, doing the same reps, more weight, etc. As long as you're able to find a way throughout each week to progress and hit a new PR in any exercise, that's like a good way of knowing you're making gains and actually improving. Where if you see things starting to flatline and plateau and you're either staying at the same, you can't do more weight, you can't do more reps, you can't do more of this, then it may be time to like take a step back, look at your workouts, and maybe you need to change something. Maybe you do more of a certain muscle, maybe you actually need to do less of a certain muscle because you're burning it out and you're doing too much for it. And this is the second rotation of doing the push-pull legs with the 12 reps. Kind of the same idea here, kind of almost all the same. Nothing really changes except the reps and the weight. And this is where I kind of go into the five-day full body workout, where first day is chest, quads, biceps, triceps, calves. I do glutes, hamstrings, back, and core. And the third day is kind of a full body day, but it's also kind of like an intermediate rest day where I have to do shoulders, biceps, triceps, and calves. This one would probably be like a 45-minute workout. Honestly, I'm not really doing too much, not really going too hard. Then back to day 4, it's chest, quads, and core. And then day 5 is a big day. Glutes, hamstrings, back, biceps, triceps, calves. And a lot of these, I'll keep the same concept of doing supersetting, but I'll mostly be with the biceps and triceps, maybe calves thrown in there. Maybe I'll do something with core and something else. A few things in here I'll be supersetted. First 2 days would be pretty heavy normally, where I do squat, then I do split squats, then I do bench press, incline bench press, standing calf raise, that's superset of biceps and the triceps exercise. The main thing with this is I definitely felt like it was a big heavy volume day. If you look here, you had 26,000 pounds in total volume. And then here, also a pretty heavy day, but not as heavy, obviously, almost 10,000 pounds less in terms of total weight moved. I do deadlift, I do a lying leg curl, a lat pull down, a row, that I ended with a crunch. Relatively short workout, but definitely a little more intense, like especially with deadlifts. Deadlifts always take me a long time, just how much they burn me out. And then day 3, a little bit of an easier day. Still, it looks like a lot of exercises, but it's still, I wouldn't say it's like too many. And then, so I would do overhead press, face pull, lateral raise, front raise, a ton of shoulder stuff. And then eventually I'd get to biceps, triceps, and then I think I did calves, but I think my calves were bothering me a little bit this day, so I only did 1 set before I just stopped. And then day 4, we go back doing more legs and chest. So, but this time I decided to vary it up. So instead of doing squats, I would just do leg press and leg extension. And I still, I guess, love doing bench press and incline bench press. So I just kind of kept doing those 2 same exercises. Yeah, so with the bench press, so I did move over to doing 12 on the first day, and the second day actually doing 8. An interesting change. And the same thing, full body day 5. And now we're doing back, glutes and hamstrings. Not doing too many glutes on this one, but I think over time I'll vary it up and actually get to doing glutes, with I think adding a hip thrust later on and then keeping basically everything else the same for the most part. Maybe I think I circuit in all these 3 exercises at some point. And then we're going to move on to the current one I have, which is definitely the one I'm liking the most. I still definitely want to change some things, want to move some things around. But the main purpose as kind of like as progressed, I've kind of focused a little more on strength and athletic performance a little bit more over time. With day 1, I'm doing some kind of plyometric, normally a box jump with like a weighted box jump, a squat, quads, bicep, and chest. Then I'm doing bench, hamstring, back, core, and some tibialis work for my knee. Day 3, same thing as before. There's going to be shoulders, triceps, upper back, and then a hip flexor. Day 4, deadlift, chest, tibialis, biceps, core, and quads. And the last day I do power clean / hang cleans, back, biceps, triceps, and hip flexors, with a lot of these kind of having a main lift on each day. So instead of doing like my bench and squatting all on the same day and being a really heavy day, I now do squat here, bench here, deadlift here, and I do power and / hang cleans over here, with a lot of like background exercises kind of down and beneath all the others. You can see that here where I'll warm up kind of with like a box jump to get my legs ready, and then I'll go into a front squat. And this is what my cycle is right now. Normally every cycle, about 8 to 10 weeks, I'll switch between doing a front squat and a back squat. This one just happens to be a front squat at the moment. And then I'll transition to the superset of doing like a bicep curl, then more leg stuff. Then another superset of doing cable crossovers. And I do I'm doing some more shoulder work to kind of build up my shoulder health and try and make sure they stay like bulletproof and they're able to withstand me playing volleyball as much as I do. Then day 2, moving over to bench, and then you can see I'm doing more doing lying leg curls, seated row, kind of just like going through all the rest of the body, avoiding kind of some of the muscles from the day prior. So you can see I'm doing lying leg curl here. I don't really do anything for my hamstrings here, nothing really for my back, kind of my biceps, and that overlap a little bit, especially the lat down pull as well. Then third day, kind of the same thing as the previous full body day, where I just kind of a shoulder press, more shoulder stuff, and then I just like some tertiary things I want to work on. Nothing really too crazy there. Then day 4, moving over to doing the deadlift, which is the main workout there. And then kind of working through muscle groups that I need to work through more throughout the week that I kind of feel like I've recovered at this point, I'm able to do. Then day 5, where I'd get to cleans, some rows, and then some finishing off whatever I felt like I needed to finish off for that week. So more back stuff, biceps, triceps, and then doing a little more hip flexor work for my knees. Now, the biggest takeaway I think you should take away from all of this is that with all the workouts I've done, with all the things I've changed, rearranged, rethought, redid, the main thing is I was showing up every week, every day, and really just putting in the work and really pushing my limits, really trying to up the weight, up the reps, up whatever I could each week. And so you just want to be consistent. If you're showing up every week, every month, for a long period of time, you will see gains, no matter how bad or good your workout is, because the best workout regime will not be showing up consistently every week. If you feel like your workouts are bad or someone thinks they're bad, that might be true. But you're showing up every week, and that's probably way more important. You can take this to like anything in life. As long as you're showing up, as long as you're doing things consistently, you will improve, you will get better. You will learn new things, you'll be able to push beyond what you think you can, rather than trying to like take as much time as you can to try and make things perfect as they can, so you don't miss on anything. Because by doing that, how long are you waiting to work out, pick up a new hobby, pick up a new skill, because you don't know the right things to learn, the right things to do? You're wasting time trying to figure out the right way to do things rather than just figuring it out, just going in and getting after it. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. See you in the next one.